Again, welcome everybody. This is officially the first Wealthy Wednesday of 2025. Many of you are brand new. You've never even heard of Wealthy Wednesday, so welcome. A bunch of you are familiar with Wealthy and Wealthy Wednesdays. We made the announcement the other day about Wealthy kind of back on the front burner. So we're going to talk tonight a little bit about that. But I thought really fast, just for the sake of, I don't know, call it re-edifications. I wanted to kind of show a few slides so we can talk about the specifics here of who is hosting tonight. It's not me. It's actually the guy you see on the screen, Mr. Dr. Stephen Balestracci, who is a chiropractor, naturopath out of Pennsylvania. And he has a practice for, I don't know, 30 years?
Close to 31, almost 32 years now.
32 years. So Dr. Balestracci is going to be our host every week. And every week it's going to be different. Every week we're going to talk about different wealthy related subjects, whether they're health and wellness related or some other stuff, depending on what we determine. And he also will likely every week be tag teaming with our chairman of our scientific advisory board. That's Dr. Michael Epitropolous, who's also here with us as well, who's responsible, by the way, for, to be honest with you, we wouldn't really be here if it wasn't for Dr. Epitropolous. He's the one that brought us nucleotides. And because of nucleotides, we named nucleogenics because of nucleotides. And more recently, the end of last year, he's the one that brought us the incredible inventor of what we now call Curbix. He brought that product and that inventor into the equation. And so Dr. Epitropolous is with us. And then also with us is our brand new VP heading the Wellthy Lifestyle Systems. His name is Coach Rob DeBoer. Coach, are you there? I think you should probably be unmuted. I think.
I'm here, buddy. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Here he is.
Well, I just wanted to educate the people that haven't seen or met you yet. So Coach Rob is going to be driving the next thing you're going to learn a little bit about tonight, and that's the Wellthy Lifestyle System or systems that actually officially is going to sort of pre-launch this coming Saturday. We'll give you details at the end of this Zoom. So what I'd like to do first, doctors, if that's okay, I'd love for you to give a little, 60-second background for those people that don't know who you are. I just want them to understand the caliber, the credibility that we have with our Wealthy Wednesdays and our significant organization. So Dr. B. Balestracci, why don't we start with you?
Okay, so my venture started in healthcare 45 years ago this year. In chiropractic and naturopathy. I was an Olympic athlete at the time, got injured, found chiropractic, changed my life. Instead of going to school to become a neurosurgeon, I became a chiropractic physician looking to heal people. So I have a lot of different degrees in undergrad. I had a triple major and a double minor, chemistry, biochemistry, environmental science with a minor in nutrition and psychology, and have continued educating through the years and still continue to increase my education. Lots of different postdoctoral degrees as well. So nutrition is a big passion of mine, and reaching out to more than just my community. So, I ask a lot of people what they want to do with their dash. Young people, my dash is to impact the world, and I can impact the world by being here with Robert, Dr. Epitropolous, and Rob DeBoer. And we're looking to help other people make that impact on the world. So we're committed and we're ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Dr. Epitropolous. Tell a little bit about your background, because both of you have been doing this a really long time, since you were like 5 years old or something.
So, hi everyone. Good to see everyone on tonight. My journey began in 1979
at the University of Florida. I was in my graduate studies working on my doctorate of applied clinical nutrition. I then left Gainesville to move to South Carolina, where I began my chiropractic studies. I received my doctorate of chiropractic, and then I began to practice in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And while I was practicing in Kalamazoo, I began to get more and more in experience in functional medicine. And I mentored under Dr. Dick Verzendaal at the time. I then obtained my doctorate, PhD in applied clinical nutrition from Indiana University, and then I kept practicing in Kalamazoo, and then I returned back to my hometown of Ormond Beach, Florida, and set up my practice here. For the last 25 years, I've been practicing altogether 40 years functional medicine and chiropractic. And my goal with each patient is to increase their quality of health, to help with their quality of health, and to help activate the natural healing ability of the body. And I've had the tremendous pleasure of working with thousands of patients through the years. And then I met up with Robert about 5 years ago, and we began our journey together with the nucleotides, and now this product that we have just recently launched with Chip Marsland and under the guidance of Robert. And I'm excited about these opportunities that we have. And
Here we go. So
there you go.
I want to speak firsthand about these two. I've known Balestracci for 16 or 17 years. We have very significant history.
17 years.
Yeah, so a long time. And Epitropolous and I, like I said, a little going on 6 years actually. But what I could attest to is their sincere desire to heal humans, right? They're true naturopaths, as you can tell. Between the two of them, you're talking over 70 years of experience. That's a lot with two guys. But also, I wanted Coach Rob DeBoer to tell us a little bit about his background, which is also very significant, although he's not necessarily a doctor, but he's incredibly talented. But Coach Rod, I'm gonna call you Doctor. Coach Rod, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I'll tell you, over the last 48 hours, I got a chance to talk to Dr. Steve and Dr. E. And I am not a doctor, but I told them, kind of all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together because I'm more the practical application. So being a former two-sport athlete, I was a two-sport captain. It was interesting, Dr. E. We shared some stories because I played for the Gamecocks in South Carolina. I was a two-sport captain in football and baseball, played professional baseball, went on to do bodybuilding and strongman, and then an athlete trainer. And so I've always been in the health, fitness, nutrition industry and became very passionate about the message that these gentlemen are both passionate about, and that is helping people. I will take more of the practical approach where we've put systems together as a body comp coach. And that was one of the things I talked to Dr. Steve about today. And I just realized how much alignment we really were. So over the past, decade or two, we've been helping people with health, fitness, nutrition, mindset, and all the things that matter and make a difference. And instead of creating perfect systems, creating practical systems that lead to success that people can sustain. And that's our goal here, is to add value where I was telling Dr. Steve today, all the pieces of the puzzle are here. We have the confidence from the science and the products and the experts. As you can tell, talking with these two gentlemen, they know a lot and they're very passionate about what they know, and they're very practical about what they know. And I want to go make it applicable to everyone in a community and kind of lead that charge. So I'm thrilled to be here. We've been doing this for a long time. We love it. It's what we feel called to do, not what we're supposed to do, or not what we want to do, but it's really what we're called to do. And so we're excited for the future here.
So we're looking forward to this Saturday. I know you're preparing and planning to showcase what you've been doing for a long time, to your point. So So tonight, what we're going to do, besides these introductions of sorts, just again because it's our first Wellthy Wednesday of the new world in 2025, and as you might have noticed on the first slide, there's a new sort of iteration. Wellthy Wednesdays is now brought to you by multiple product companies, which is significant. Actually, next Wellthy Wednesday, next week, we're going to spend Wellthy Wednesday talking about the health and wellness of travel and going on vacation. So we're going to do that for next Wellthy Wednesday. But what I wanted to do tonight is I'm just going to kind of lead a little bit and you guys down the path of what we're going to talk about. However, is we're going to talk about our brand new weight loss product called Curbix. For those of you that might be brand new, that someone invited you here, this is an open forum every Wednesday night for people that might be, interested in looking at what we're doing every week. And this week we're going to be talking about Curbix. So we just launched it on Saturday. It's and in fact, people I think probably starting today are starting to get their first bottles delivered because they started shipping right away on Monday. But I had an interesting conversation today. I'm gonna show a screen because this is where I want to kind of start off. With the doctors in particular. And there's a lot of noise out there. I was talking to our other VP, Cesar Rodriguez, today, and I knew that there were some other products out there that sort of claim natural GLP-1. What you guys are going to find as we start talking about GLP-1 and, that type of, the semaglutide and stuff like that, people are going to be researching it. They're going to be doing keyword searches, or maybe they've heard of other so-called natural. This is what you're going to start hearing a lot about. People are trying to use the word GLP-1 from a marketing perspective to try and sell their products. And I want to explain why what we have is very different. So there's two products out there. They're actually both from two, coincidentally, direct selling companies, all right? Actually, MLM companies. I'm not naming the product. But here's why I wanted to show them. This is very relevant. Because there's a lot of studies of tons and tons of ingredients. And doctors, this is what I want to kind of speak to after I finish my little dissertation here. And that is, there will continue to be companies that are trying to leverage studies that show certain ingredients, or when formulating certain ingredients together, that they can increase GLP-1, excretion or support in the body, right? There's a lot of people saying that. So the reason I'm saying that is that here's an example. Look at how many ingredients of this product. Tons of ingredients, but when you look at each one of these ingredients, they're ingredients you can get anywhere, right? So this is what we commonly refer to in nutraceuticals as a formula, right? Someone decided to formulate a bunch of ingredients that have such and such studies behind them. What you're going to notice as you get to really understand what we're doing, that the so-called natural GLP-1 products out there are very starch-based. Dr. E, you can come back to that. We can talk about that because that's what we're really seeing out there. These starch-based, sort of fiber type formulas that are allegedly helping do what we're actually doing, right? Here's the second one, right? There's another product, and these are proprietary blends. We can see here, number one ingredient, potato starch. Over here, same thing, resistant potato starch. This is their claim to fame. But when you understand, this is the point I want to make. When you understand what we're doing, this is our ingredient panel, this green one. And what you see here is a secretagogue protein. This is not some off-the-shelf, ingredient that they blended together. This is actually our unicorn. When I say unicorn, this is the unicorn. This is a secretagogue protein that our inventor is actually, his team is growing. Like, we're literally making this product. We are not blending and formulating. Does that make sense? So I wanted to point this out because there's noise out there already. There's other products, companies trying to say they have a natural GLP-1, but they really don't, right? They don't. We actually have a unicorn, and that's what sets this product apart. So Dr. E, I'd like to start with you and because you know probably more than anybody else on the call about what we now call Curbix and this, secretagogue protein and what Chip has developed. But can you speak to the starches and speak to that, noise that's out there?
So those two companies, Robert, that you just showed actually took their ideas from Chip Marsland, who is the developer of our product. First of all. Second of all, neither one of those products contains the secretagogue that we have. A secretagogue, they don't contain a secretagogue. A secretagogue is a substance that causes the production of something else. In other words, the secretagogue, which is the bioactive fermented protein that Chip Marsland developed from unique proteins, because he had alternatives to meat for a long time that he took his secretagogue from. And the secretagogue then causes the body to produce this bioactive fermented protein that only Chip Marsland has, causes the body to produce elevated levels on its own of GLP-1 to at least 2,800% increase, and PYY to almost 11,000% increase, significant production of those two hormones that are the major hormones that control appetite and cravings. This is the significant difference between our product and those two other products. We have the secretagogue and they don't. They have ingredients in combination. So that's a very, very, very big difference. We have the magic, or I should say the secret sauce, if you will, that no one else has. Dr. Steve, would you not agree with what I'm saying?
I completely agree with what you're saying. I just thought Robert was going to say something after.
I was, but I was
It-
muted. So if I
It's
could,
all good.
sorry,
So-
I was trying to get the slides. But
So,
so
and-
I wanted Dr. E just to piggyback off what you said. I know for a fact that the most relevant part of what you just said is this bullet right here: GLP-1 increase of 2,800%. When I was looking at those other so-called natural GLP-1 activators, the highest one I saw was 140. We're at 2,800. So these are, can you speak to these bullets again like you did the other night for the new people?
Yeah, these are significant. This is from a study that Chip Marsland did for 3 months with, I think it was a study group of 30 patients. And he did a whole series of in the trial, but basically he found that the fermented protein would cause at least a 6.57-hour control of the appetite and cravings in the day. And so there was an average of 70% daily caloric reduction per person because they didn't want to eat. It reduces your appetite and your cravings, and the food noise, which is the temptation that you feel, that was reduced by 95%. That's a remarkable reduction when you talk about food noise, and you're satisfied for at least 6 hours. GLP-1, like you said, Robert, increased an average of 2,800%. That's very significant, that level of GLP-1, and PYY even more so. A 90% effectiveness with the capsules. I mean, this study that was done is very significant, and those other two companies did not do any study like this one. So there's just apples and oranges we're comparing here.
Well,
Yes.
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Go ahead.
I mean, it's fair to say that, Dr. E, that they haven't done those studies because they're not going to be able to prove what they say. The ingredients that they have in there really aren't going to do much of anything at all. They're certainly not going to match what the Curbix study has done. Not even close.
Chip Marsland is a trained a pharmaceutical biochemist. He has 30 years of experience in the weight loss industry. He has 30 50 patents. He has 50 patents. That's unheard of. The pharmaceutical companies are trying to copy him in this fermented protein, bioactive fermented protein science that he's developed. He's a pioneer of this. So
Yeah.
we have a really unique formulation.
I think it's important that everyone know, there's a lot of, especially recently since that ruling came down, that the compounding companies won't be able to be producing the synthetic GLP-1s, which we all know and everyone should know are very harmful to us and create a lot of different health issues. And so the drug companies, the big drug companies, they have increased their advertising significantly. And even talking about, hey, well, we have this other thing in our product so that you don't get the adverse side effects, or they don't appear to you, like the throwing up or the the vomiting, the nausea, the headaches, the different things that would alert someone that, hey, this product isn't really good for me. And the synthetics are very dangerous for us. We're essentially taking a synthetic GLP-1 and putting it in our body, and it's active. And Dr. E, correct me if I'm wrong, they're active in our body for 168 hours. This is not healthy for the human body. It wreaks havoc, and it causes also muscle cannibalization. So we'll eat our own muscle, or we'll burn our own muscle. The problem is we have different types of muscle in our body. One of them being cardiac muscle, AKA our heart. So we can cause irrevocable damage in our heart as well as other organs utilizing these synthetics. What this product is doing is allowing our body, stimulating our body to produce the GLP-1s and the PYYs that our body should be producing in order to function properly. The food sources today cause our gut to cause us to get dysbiosis or gut dysbiosis. Gut damage causes leaky gut syndrome. It's a major problem in our country. And that's something else that we need to speak to, because it's important to understand that we have to repair our guts. And we have a product for that as well.
Right. So again, Wellthy Wednesdays are about all of the above, right? So even though we're kind of talking about Curbix because it's brand new to our network of consumers and the affiliates associated with us. But I also wanted, for the audience listening, feel free to, Roberto Oblano entered the room. That's funny, since I'm sitting right here. That's kind of funny. Wonder who that is. I bet you they won't have their camera on. So I was going to say to the audience, before I was distracted, feel free to ask any questions. One of the most relevant parts of, and what's so cool about Wellthy Wednesdays, is that you get to ask the doctors or ask the professionals and ask questions you might have. And there's already a couple of them. One of them is, someone noticed, which is fine, that our secretagogue protein is a milk base, right? So the question was, why milk? Well, milk is just the base. So as you know, cow and cow milk and cheese and those kind of variables they're a high protein. So it's the base of how our inventor created the secretagogue protein. But there's no milk and there's no lactose in the product. It's just the way scientifically that they created this peptide or protein for our product. Again, this is what makes it a unicorn. Next question is if one of you or both of you want to speak to. So if you guys are taking notes, I don't know, but what we're doing is what you would call a double agonist. And what you hear Dr. Balestracci talking about when he says PYY, you said it a couple times, right? People don't know what that means. So can you guys explain what the GLP hormone is, and what its function is, and then simultaneously what the PYY hormone is, and what Curbix is doing?
I think that Dr. E or Dr. Michael should speak about that, as he is bar none the best expert to speak on this on the call.
Well, GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. And it's part of a protein. It's a fermented protein, a bioactive one. And because of its fermentation and bioactive state, it causes the body as a secretagogue to produce as a hormone, because hormones cause those kind of have those abilities to cause something else to be produced by the body. So it causes the body to produce elevated levels of the GLP-1. So the bioactive protein causes that to happen. Then the GLP-1 goes from the stomach to the small intestine, where the L cells are the ones, the endocrine L cells are the ones that secrete the GLP-1, and then the DPP-4 permeates it. The GLP-1 is able to permeate the intestinal mucosa lining, which is the gut wall lining, because there's DPP-4 inhibitor that breaks down the enzyme DPP-4 that allows the GLP-1 hormone to go through the intestinal mucosal lining. And then from there, the GLP-1 with PYY get through the intestinal mucosal lining and enter the circulatory system. And then the circulatory system takes them to the vagus nerve, which then they transported to the amygdala, the brain, part of the brain. So the hormones, they're basically master hormones, the GLP-1 and PYY, and those hormones control appetite. They are the major hormones that control appetite and cravings. And those hormones also, because they're made by the L cells, which allow them to cross the blood-brain barrier, these injections do not cross the blood-brain barrier. That's another significant difference from our product to the injections, is they cross the blood-brain barrier, which then allows them to get into every imaginable part of the body to affect other hormones. So these hormones, these master appetite control, craving control hormones, interact with other hormones, and the entire makeup of the body is then affected. All these different body systems are affected. So this then has many other health benefits, because these two master hormones interact with other hormones in the body.
So can I want to interject, because I learned a lot. I have been learning a lot, spending a lot of time with the inventor because of the way my marketing brain works. I want to add to that, if I can, even though I'm not the doctor. What's really going on is what's called ghrelin. You guys can look this up. Grelin. Ghrelin. Ghrelin. What happens is the opposite of the GLP-1. So when you're in a fasted state, in other words, you haven't eaten for a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, right? What happens is ghrelin is another hormone that runs around doing the same thing, telling you it's time to eat, right? So ghrelin is what is wreaking havoc, and that's that might be the name of, or the definition of, what we've been calling food noise. When you get food, when you have that food noise, right? It's the ghrelin running around telling you it's time to eat, it's time to eat, it's time to eat, right? When you heard the testimonials the other day of the girls that were having, constantly snacking, and they couldn't deal with the food noise. Well, they've got an overage of ghrelin. So here's what we're doing, and here's how the GLP-1 and the PYY works. So what happens is the ghrelin's running around saying eat, the food noise, you go eat. And then as soon as you start eating, your body secretes the GLP-1 hormone to say, hey, you ate enough, you're full. And then the PYY's job is to try and turn off the GLP-1. So it's like you got all these three things going on. You got ghrelin saying, feed me. GLP-1 comes out when you eat, and it says, okay, you're full. PYY's job is to shut off the GLP-1. So what we're doing is that's why I say it's a double agonist. So we're getting your body to secrete the GLP-1, to tell you you're full without eating. Here's the magic of it, right? You take the capsules, it's suppressing your appetite because it's telling your brain, like Dr. E just said, you're satisfied. I already ate through your vagus nerve, right? It's a brain gut connection. So it's saying, I don't need to eat because I'm full. GLP-1 got secreted without you eating, but the double agonist is the other ingredient that's also telling the PYY not to shut off the GLP-1. So that's why we call it a double agonist. We're ensuring that the GLP-1 continues for 6, 7, 8 hours, naturally saying you're full. And that's the 6 to 8 hour window that you're suppressing your appetite. And that's what makes this the unicorn. This is not like those other ones I was pointing out. There's going to be a lot of other ones that come and use starches or other way that they're saying, oh, we're naturally getting your body to secrete GLP-1. And that might be true. But like Dr. E said, they're not actually secretagogues doing it without the starches, number one, and they don't have the double agonist telling PYY not to shut off the GLP-1. How'd I do? Pretty good, right?
Very good.
So, Coach Rob, I don't want to leave you out. I know you know a lot about weight loss and dieting and helping people do these things in other formats. Imagine now, Rob, the ability for you, which you're about to have, to add Curbix into the life-changing lifestyles you're going to be a part of changing.
Yeah, so what like my gift or what I do is I take the science that the doctors so eloquently explain and I try to make it simple. So essentially they're explaining all the dynamics that make Curbix what it is, but let's just simplify it and tie it in a neat bow. Curbix will help people create compliance. So think of Curbix as a compliance tool to make better choices. The problem is, and the reason I love this upcoming 30-day Better Body Comp Challenge, and I'm so grateful the more I learn about these doctors and now my associates, is they understand the difference between weight loss. We don't want to just lose weight. The one thing you really don't want to lose is you don't want to lose lean body mass.
Right.
We want to lose fat. We want to keep and create muscle. And I would call it, we want to live agelessly, look, feel, perform good as we go. Dr. Steve, what was the line you said? You add years to the life. And
okay, so we have a saying in chiropractic, and I'm sure Dr. Epitropolous knows this. So we say that because, yeah, let's go back a little. Chiropractic is a vitalistic model. It is not an allopathic model. We are rooted in vitalism. So in vitalism, we say we need to get to the root cause of the problems. So, and that's what we're doing here. So in chiropractic, we say chiropractic adds life to your years and years to your life. In other words, we add quality and quantity. Now, the human body can live much longer than the average human being lives. So, and we can ask everyone on this call, hey, if you were to be able to live to only 75 years old, only 3/5 of your life, and have a quality of life with no infirmities, or if you can live to be 126 years old, but for the last 50 years or 51 years of your life, things aren't so good. Everyone picks, I'll take the 75. You can go to sleep at night, never wake up, I'll take the 75. So with this product and what we're looking to accomplish, and also a paradigm shift in the public, is to improve the quality of people's lives. So we want to improve that. We want to increase quality, because without quality, quantity is nothing. So understand that this product, nutrition, Rob, Dr. E, myself, we're all rooted in vitalism, as is Robert. So this is huge, because largely most people only understand that allopathy, or the allopathic model. That's what we've been brainwashed or trained to believe. But, you know, at one time, people thought the world was flat, and it's not. Okay, so.
I love that. And I love what you said. Yo, this is how much I resonate with this guy. He was talking to me on the phone, and he's like, you know, and he explained these age, expectancies. He's like, I'm gonna, I for sure gonna live till I'm 126, till I'm 126. But he said, I think I can hit 150. Like, but that's the essence of what he's talking about. So I want everyone to think of this. Coach Rob, what's your job? What are you guys collectively doing? Imagine if it was really this simple. What if we could make your body on a daily basis become more energy expensive? And what I mean by that is we change your body composition for the better. We don't care if your weight changes. We care if your body composition becomes better. So if we can help you lose fat, proportionally keep and create muscle, you're burning more calories when you sit and watch Netflix, when you watch your dog, when you fold the laundry, when you play with your kids, when you do everything. So over time, our goal is to help the human body become more energy expensive. And when it becomes more energy expensive, everything Dr. Steve you just said, not only are you adding years to your life, but now you're adding life to your years. If you're more energy expensive, you can do more, you can experience more. And that's why I love this whole Wellthy brand model, is because when we start talking about, hey, removing financial stress because they're not as an opportunity, because vacations and the statistics that support travel, all of it becomes part of this formula. And I say we've got the perfect pieces to the puzzle. I don't want to know what these guys know. When you guys started listing and I started looking at your websites and seeing your credentials, I don't want to know all that. But what it does for someone like me, who's a practical, I would say a practical expert that has done all this study through working with literally hundreds and thousands of people, is you guys give us as a community the confidence, knowing, hey, the science is solid and sound. And if you want to understand it, we can explain it. But let's take that, let's simplify it, apply it. And now we've changed your life for the better.
Yep. So part of what Rob is talking about, so everybody really understands, is when he says, hey, let's change our body composition, when we're losing fat and gaining muscle, obviously fat is not so dense. Muscle is very dense. So we have to look at inches as well. Okay. Look at the waistline, the arms. So when we look at all of these things, you can clearly see if you were to remain at the same weight, if you're losing inches and we calculate the amount of inches you're losing across your body, you have effectively improved your health significantly. Dr. E, so I think it's important that people know that, a gut repair is an important part, because the products, the food products and the chemicals that we have in the food products today that a lot of people eat, and the lack of fermentation that people take in as well, we get damage to our gut. And when we get that, we get a lot of things, including insulin resistance, and we get weight gain. We produce chemicals in our body which push us to gain weight. By repairing, we're eliminating a lot of that. And to answer one of the young ladies' questions about blood pressure, can it decrease blood pressure? Well, last week on the call, Dr. E shared where it decreased his triglyceride levels. He and his wife, it decreased their cholesterol levels. Now, that could be one of the causes of blood pressure, where we have clogging of the arteries, because you're shoving the same amount of fluid through a smaller hole, and that increases pressure. So increasing good cholesterol, decreasing bad cholesterol is super important. And as a result of the product, that has happened to Dr. E. And I'm sure it will happen to many more people that are on the product. Improving health and losing the bad weight and the visceral fat and gaining the good weight will also decrease blood pressure. I mean, one of the main things we focus on, the first thing we look at on people when they have high blood pressure is, are they overweight? We have a significant amount of people in our country that are considered obese. Robert has the statistics on that. We went over that last week, and that number continues to climb. We have to bring that number down. This is a great way to bring that down. If we were to compare a picture of people on the beach, and I know it's out there, in the 70s and 80s, and we were to compare it to today, there is a significant difference in what people look like.
You see those pictures on Facebook, don't you?
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Beach of the 70s and the beaches of today is pretty
right.
crazy. I wanted to, Dr. E, what Dr. Steve was just talking about, your other health benefits we talked about the other night. These are the sort of before and afters here on the screen. Can you talk about these a little bit?
Sure. The one on the left was my blood profile, lipid profile done in September of 2024 when I was just starting on the product. And 2.5, 3 months later in September, that is on the right. So if you look at the numbers, for example, the cholesterol on the left in September was 231, I believe. And then the one on the right,
231 down to 167.
167 in December, 2.5 months later, which is I mean it was early mid-September and mid-December. Then the HDL went up from 48 to 54 on the right. The triglycerides is the number that really
263
was
down to
interesting to me
171.
because
Yeah.
I been working on triglycerides and was never able to lower them with all the things, the arsenal of things that I have. And so it dropped from, was it
263 to 171.
263 to 171. That's
Which is
quite a
That's huge.
drop,
That's
isn't
huge.
it? And that's in 2.5 months, folks. So these medications out there, the statin drugs, which are given to most everyone, now you have something, a natural way to lower these.
Let's speak to that because, you know, as we know, the number one killer is heart disease.
Yes.
So right now we're talking about wealthy lifestyles and losing weight and changing body composition, all of which are obviously very important. But this is a product based on the numbers that Dr. Epitropolous, this is his own numbers, his own, guinea pig of himself, so to speak, with just taking Curbix. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. E, you didn't do anything else when you started taking the Curbix. You just started taking the Curbix. You started eating less. But what's going on with this double agonist is having these ancillary benefits, right? This product is gonna change a lot of lives. It's not just an appetite suppressant so you can lose weight. And I know Coach Rob is going to be speaking a lot about this because you both have been talking about really body composition, not just losing fat, right? It's not about the number of pounds you're losing. It's about the body composition. Right. But go ahead.
And not to interrupt you, I think it's important for people to understand a little better. What you saw with Dr. Epitropoulos' numbers is that his body is in repair. His body is repairing. So that's really the bigger picture, the simplicity of it. If his body, when we look at his other levels, the body is in distress. And it'll continue to snowball that way. But what's happened is it's reversed, right? It's improving his quality of life. His body is repairing with this product. That's why those numbers went down. Super important.
Very good point, Dr. Steve. The point of it is that the body is, the inflammation is decreasing as a result of the action of this product. And the fact that inflammation, as we all know, is the main cause of all illness.
Yep.
And so you're affecting the inflammatory markers in the body.
Yeah. And it's important for you all to understand, inflammation is at the root of all disease. It drives the diseases. So it's a killer. It's a killer. So, and when our body is stressed, we produce other chemicals, which then contribute more because they're being produced in excess. They contribute more to that inflammatory process. So we get on a vicious cycle, like a hamster on a wheel. This is breaking those cycles.
Hey, Robert, I want to say one last thing real quick, just to highlight what they're saying. And this is one of the other things I've loved about meeting these gentlemen and yourself, of course, is this isn't like a one and done. We're not here to sell you a product. Good luck, go get them. We hope it works. Send us your pictures if you have a testimony. It's not about a singular product. It is about a strategy. That's why we called, kind of the Saturday feature. We've got Wellthy Wednesdays, and then we've got the strategy zone where we're going to develop strategies. We kind of coined the term, the only diet that works is the one you'll do. Well, we want to help figure that out for you. The reason Curbix is such an effective kind of foundational product, along with the gut health products that these guys know a lot more about than I do, is because everyone struggles with the overconsumption of poor calories. I was talking to Dr. Steve today, and I said, people are asking the wrong question. Why does it cost more to eat healthy? That's the wrong question. The actual question is, why is it so cost effective to eat cheap? Why is it so cheap to eat poorly? And so we're here to create a strategy, not based on one product, but based on a strategy and a system with the science products that support varying levels. People might just start with a bottle of Curbix, and then you know what? It grows into a whole regimen of products. Our job, my job specifically, is to make sure you feel supported, and we're doing all the things to make sure we're adding years to your life and life to your years.
And that's the paradigm shift. Super important.
Okay, so very cool. So just, we're closing in on 50 minutes here. I wanted to, Coach Rob, I wanted you to just kind of share with people what's happening, what's coming, starting this Saturday. I'll tell them a little bit more about what's happening, and then, I want to invite everybody, especially anybody that's a guest here, not only to go to my Curbix, or actually go to ask the person who invited you into either this group or onto the Zoom, how you can get your nucleogenics and my Curbix products. But Coach Rob, I'd love for you maybe to just kind of give a little bit of what's coming in terms of, the new Wellthy lifestyle system.
Yeah, so the bottom line is this, and there's a saying that says, a confused mind often says no. There's a lot of confusion in this day of social media, and everyone's an Instagram guru or expert. What we want to do is we want to give you a pathway. We want to give you a track. We want to give you a product and a program that we know will work every time for everyone. And that's where I come in, is we want to show you practical examples, what to eat, how to become an intuitive eater, how to listen to your body, how to shop, what recipes might look like. Maybe you're someone that would never go to a gym, but there are things that you could do at home. What if we had what we call a just this list? Hey, here's a good, better, best regimen. Here's your good 5 boxes under the good category. Drink your Curbix. Dr. Steve was telling me I have a big 22-ounce glass of water every morning. Hey, prioritize protein. Turn your device off before bed. Make sure you get 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. Make sure you're moving food through your system so you're not constipated and have digestive issues. Maybe you do. Maybe we've got to correct your gut health. So we're going to put people on a path where it works every time for everyone. I would say this, we keep talking about paradigm shift. I would summarize it this way. So for so long, we've been focused on fat loss and or really termed weight loss. If we focused on keeping and creating muscle, 100% of the time that will result in fat loss. If we focus on fat loss and weight loss, almost 100% of the time, you will see and experience lean body mass loss. So we're changing the entire paradigm. And that's why this Curbix product and all the talk about the GLP-1 peptides is so important, is because the biggest detriment to all of these products oftentimes is, yes, we're changing your body weight. The scale doesn't tell you what you've lost or gained. It only tells you how much. Well, we don't want to lose any lean body mass, so we're going to give you the strategies moving forward that will work. Remember, the only diet that works is the one you'll do. We're not going to mistake perfect for something that's practical, but we're going to give you a very practical runway for 30 days that if you'll do what we say, and it's very realistic, you can go as fast as you want based on a good, better, best model. And in 30 days, you'll see we've got you on the right strategy.
Love it, love it, love it. And perfect segue into, I want to bring on one more special guest who is also been a part of our scientific advisory board and council. Also very relevant. Like I said, Dr. E, we wouldn't have some of what we have, a lot of what we have. And without this gentleman, we wouldn't have butyric acid, actually, and all the things you've heard the story that we've told, instrumental in sort of collaborating, co-creating all the things that we've been doing. But I want to introduce everybody to Mr. Tony Freeman. I know is with us. Tony and Kelly, are you there? I think you just have to unmute yourself.
You may have to make him a panelist.
I did.
Oh, I mean, X-Man is one of the best people I've ever met.
There you go.
Hey,
Cool. Hello, hello, hello.
what's up?
My,
How are you?
I've been looking forward to this. You know, Robert's been laying low, working on stuff, and I try not to bug him because I know that, you know, when he's silent, he's really deadly. So I'm glad that you have come up with this, and
I'm
you know,
really
I downloaded
excited
the app
about
the other day.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
So I downloaded the app the other day, so it's been going ding. It's been dinging quite a bit. So I'm excited to get the product. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm ready.
I'm excited about you and Coach Rob kind of back together. You guys have been knowing each other for a little while.
I giggled when I saw Rob on. I follow Rob and I watch him do his pull-ups and shovel snow and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's good to be back, getting the band back together.
So tell me, we were talking a little, I don't know, a week and a half ago, some of the new stuff you've been doing, you know, helping people in their transformation journeys. I know you've been excited about getting Curbix to them.
Yeah, you know, my business partner, they're heavy into the anti-aging clinics and whatnot, and I've never been a fan of these um of these shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, number one, I don't know. I'm all about doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind supplements or whatever, but you know, people are taking this without knowing what they're actually doing to themselves.
Right.
You know, I'm actually coaching and personal training people now. Quite a few of my clients are either still using or used it before, and so I'm excited to share this with all the clinics that we're working with, because now we have a natural alternative. And so cool. I recently ran across a natural testosterone alternative, so this is really cool timing. I'm gonna test Curbix on myself just to see how it makes me feel. I'm not sure, you know, I only eat twice a day, so I don't really have an appetite problem. But sometimes I want to make sure that I can speak on it from a position of experience. And so once I try it, then I can definitely show people how to utilize it better, how to maybe make dietary changes specifically for them. You know, some people don't have gallbladder, some people, you know, can't exercise or whatever. So being able to give them what they need to be successful is what we're all about.
I would like to, you know, just sort of to finalize the evening. Thanks everybody for being here. But, you know, we got the benefit when we started the other board members, so to speak, that you've been obviously a part of. We've been together for a long time, you and I, and with this group. But there's a lot of new people here. So I'd love for you to take, you know, 60, 90 seconds to really tell, you know, people that don't know who you are. I could tell you, I'll just kind of lead in. Tony, the X-Man Freeman, you can look him up, top 5 bodybuilders of all time, is one of the most humble, down-to-earth, close friends I've had for a long time. But Tony, tell a little bit more about your background. And, you know, what's funny, I almost want to laugh because you always are your own guinea pig. You always say,
Always.
and always, you know,
always.
that's going to work. But tell them a little bit about your background.
Oh man, you know, preacher's kid. My mother's a teacher, so we were very protected and grew up in a strict environment, which I'm very, very grateful for, especially in this day and age, because the generations after us didn't get that type of discipline, and we're dealing with it right now. So now we have come to the part where I'm always trying to be healthy. I'm 58. I had a long career in bodybuilding, and when I finished bodybuilding, I wasn't in the best position health-wise. I was about 295 pounds, probably about 8% body fat, but I was malnourished and I had parasites and whatnot. So that put me on a journey to cleanse my temple. And that's kind of how me and Robert met right as I was getting to the peak of that whole spiritual transformation. And I really believe that us meeting was very spiritual. And I still remember a lot of stuff we discussed when we first talked. Man, it's like 8 years now, almost 8
Our
years.
very first conversation.
Yeah, like we've been like this since the first conversation. And I really just enjoy helping people, and not like helping them when they're helpless, helping them when they're trying. Like when people are trying to do something and they're like, you could see that they have potential, or you can see their diligence or their work ethic. I like to be that person where they can say, what do you think about this? And then I can actually turn that light bulb on for people. So that's kind of my specialty is an application. I used to, Kevin Thomas, a good friend of ours, I had to tell him and his staff, I'm like, you guys make supplements, but you don't really take supplements. I take supplements. I put everything through the ringer and make sure that every ingredient and the efficacy is on point. And I've been blessed to be at the origination of so many huge companies and products, and sticking to high quality ingredients and delivery systems, and then being able to deliver the product on the timely manner. That's what it's all about. That's what this is all about. It's going to give you all the different lanes to flex and do what you do best. I'm really excited because I plan on doing a lot of events this year. Up until recently, like when I retired from bodybuilding, I stopped training. I did circuit training and walked around the park. I didn't, maybe I would call it maybe working out. So probably about 5 months ago, I started back training again with a specific intent. I'm actually gonna build my physique with our products, basically. So that's what I've been utilizing lately. Using the whole food approach and all the stuff that I learned after the competitive years to really build a nice physique, but still be extremely healthy and be able to do this for a long, long time.
Tony, you mentioned one very key word, application.
Yep.
And I often ask people, is knowledge power?
No.
And 99.9% of the time, people say yes. And I, of course, respectfully disagree. And I educate them that it is the application of the information is where the power comes in.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very important for people. We must apply what we know and what we're learning. If we don't, we'll fail.
Yeah, I always say, education without experience is just information. Like in this day and age, if I got a laptop, I don't care how many PhDs you got. If you haven't applied what I've applied, you can't hang.
Right.
Because I've done it. I have, not only have I studied and read like you, but I've actually went out there and applied it to me and several people.
Yeah.
And so, people always tell me the studies say this and the studies say that. And I'm cool with the studies, but reality though, add I got 3 kids and only got working 2 jobs, add that to the equation.
Right.
And see what you come up with.
So, this is why history repeats itself, because people fail to apply the knowledge. So we have to change that.
When you read something or hear something before you've applied it and you feel like you know it, that's ego. You haven't applied it yet. So knowing means I did it. It doesn't mean I read it or somebody told me. Knowing means I actually did it.
What a dream team. Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
So Coach Rob, I'm going to just share this last screen and close it out. here's what's going to happen starting on the 15th, but this Saturday, we'll post links. They're in some of the groups, but I know we just launched the Wealthy Life Style group, the group we've had for years and years. We kind of repurposed it today. You might have noticed. We've actually, for those of you that are on the Zoom, we've actually been live streaming for the first time this year so far. We're live streaming in that Facebook group. So we've got kind of a dual audience happening. But this, Coach Rob, this is, remind me, it's 11 a.m. Eastern?
That's correct. 11 a.m. We'll have a Zoom. People can find that, and we'll broadcast it into various groups. All the details will follow once we button that up.
Yeah, so what we're planning is for those of you that haven't purchased Curbix yet, this is a better body comp challenge. However, the base product, if you will, is going to be Curbix. So you want to go figure out how to get your Curbix now, because we're going to start the challenge in 10, I guess it's 10 days from now, right? So on the 15th. And that challenge is going to start every 15 days thereafter, and it's going to be a 30-day cycle. And then every 90 days, we're going to have a collective winners challenge. But you want to jump on this first start date on the 15th, but you want to be on this Saturday's Zoom so you can get started with everybody. So that's it. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Dr. Steve,